Step 9. Made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Good judgment, a careful sense of timing, courage, and prudence. These are the qualities we shall need when we take step 9. After we had made the list of people we had harmed, we will see that the making of direct amends divides those we should approach into several classes. There will be those who ought to be dealt with just as soon as we become reasonably confident that we can maintain our sobriety. There will be those to whom we can make only partial restitution, lest complete disclosures do them or others more harm than good. There will be other cases where action ought to be deferred, and still others, by the very nature of the situation, we shall never be able to make direct personal contact at all. Good judgment will suggest that we ought to take our time. While we may be quite willing to reveal the very worst, we must be sure to remember that we cannot buy our own peace of mind at the expense of others. We've admitted to being alcoholic and acknowledge that we will never get over our drinking until we have done our utmost to straighten out the past. We are there to sweep off our side of the street, realizing that nothing worthwhile can be accomplished until we do so. We have a list of all of the persons we've harmed to whom we are willing to make amends. Now we go to our fellows and repair the damage done. We attempt to clear away the debris which has accumulated out of our effort to live on self-will and run the show ourselves. We may feel modest, shy, and awkward because of a lack of self-confidence about going to them on a spiritual basis. Let us be reassured. To some people, we need not and probably shouldn't emphasize the spiritual nature on our first approach. Our real purpose is to use this action to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to our higher power and the people around us. It is seldom wise to approach any individual and announce that we have become spiritual and that we are doing this in order to get closer to God. Why lay ourselves open to being branded as fanatics or religious bores? They are going to be more interested in the demonstration of goodwill than in our talk of spiritual discoveries. We will want to sit down with some member of our family and readily admit to the damage we have done by our drinking. Almost always, we will want to go further and admit other defects that have made us hard to live with. At this first sitting, it is necessary only that we make a general admission of our defects. It may be unwise at this stage to rehash certain harrowing episodes. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think that we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. We are choosing to develop a relationship with a greater power that will take away our desire to drink. Our behavior will convince them more than words. We must remember that our drunken exploits would make a skeptic out of anyone. Much the same approach will apply at the office or factory. We shall at once think of a few people who know all about our drinking and who have been most affected by it. But even in these cases, we may need to use a little more discretion than we did with the family. We may not want to say anything for several weeks or longer until we are reasonably certain that we are on the AA beam. Against this background, we can freely admit the damage we have done and make our apologies. In this atmosphere, approval and praise may be forthcoming and is apt to be exhilarating as to put us off balance by creating an insatiable appetite for more of the same. Or we may be tipped over in the other direction when we get a cool or skeptical reception. This may tempt us to argue or to press our point insistently, or tempt us into discouragement and pessimism. In this, we shall be silent and allow those we have harmed to react in their chosen way. Such reactions of others will not deflect us from our steady and even purpose if we have prepared ourselves well in advance. After taking this preliminary trial at making amends, we may enjoy a sense of relief that we conclude our task is finished. The temptation to skip the more humiliating and dreaded meetings that still remain will be great. We will often manufacture plausible excuses for dodging these issues entirely, or may procrastinate, telling ourselves the time is not yet, when in reality we have already passed up many a fine chance to right a serious wrong. The question of how to approach the person we hated will arise. It may be that they have done us more harm than we have done to them, and though we may have acquired a better attitude towards them, we are still not too keen about admitting our faults. It is harder to go to an enemy than to a friend, but we find it more beneficial to us. We go to them with a humble and forgiving spirit, confessing our former ill feeling and expressing our regret. Under no condition do we criticize such a person or argue. Their defects may be glaring, but the chances are that our own actions are partly to blame. Their faults are not discussed. We stick to our own. If our manner is calm, frank, and open, we will be gratified with the results. Some alcoholics owe money. They have committed a criminal offense, be adulterous or divorced, and in arrears on alimony. Reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience, we ask that we be given the strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences may be. We no longer dodge our creditors, the authorities, nor any other responsibilities we may owe to our family, friends, or employers. We may lose our position, reputation, or face jail, but we are willing. We have to be. We must not shrink at anything. As soon as we begin to feel confident in our new way of life and have begun by our behavior and example to convince those about us that we are indeed changing for the better, we should try to be absolutely sure that we are not delaying making amends because we are afraid. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to another person, and that power greater than oneself, that we would right them if we could. But we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. We stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. For the readiness to take the full consequences of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of Step 9.